This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
To them ease.
And we are back for another edition of the Onside Kick right here on Most Valuable Podcast, your pro football podcast for MVP. And Mark, we're chugging along. I know we're recording these out of order, so this would be, this is the one, we're recording them out of order, but this is the one that would be for this week, the week before July 4th. So for every one of our fans in the U.S., a happy early July 4th, as you'll probably see this a day or two before, and then the rest of the videos you'll see on July 4th. But we move on in our previews to the NFC West. We've done with the North, done with the South. Now it's starting the West, and we start with the NFC. If you're new to our previews, we start with the worst, we go to the first. So it's going to be Cardinals, then the 49ers, then the Seahawks, and then we end with the Super Bowl runner-ups, the Los Angeles Rams, who probably shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl, but that's a story for another day. Sorry, Saints fans, that I have to bring it up again. But how we work in these previews is, before we get into that, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We actually have a new patron,
There you go.
Charlie Dunning, so I want to throw some love his way. He has joined us at the bronze tier, which is just $1, and he's going to get access to the MVP podcast, where we're going to record episode 3 today after this, a very special episode of the MVP podcast.
One I definitely think you guys want to check out. It'll keep you very informed and in the loop.
Yes, it will. And he's going to be able to see that a month before everyone else, as well as get access to our Discord channel, which Retro, Jake, Pat was texting in it today. Sung Hyung texting it all the time.
A lot of basketball stuff.
Throwing
right
links
now.
in there. And that's the thing. More people get in there, more different interests.
And as
come alive.
always, please, if you're a football fan, get in that Discord chat, because I do not care at all about basketball.
Soapy's got your gaming down.
Yeah.
He hits up Mark with the gaming, but
He's a good man.
Mark was like, I need some football people. I need some football people in here. But let's start with the worst team in the NFC West.
In the NFL.
In the NFL.
They were the number 1 draft pick.
The Arizona Cardinals. And what we do to begin everything is kind of run down the stats and everything. And Mark, you said they were the worst. Well, they were the worst in offense, period. Offensive yards per game, 32nd in the league, just over 241 yards on offense. They were last in points, just over 2 touchdowns a game, 32nd in the league. Defense, they were a little bit better, but not great. Yards per game, they were 20th overall, 358 yards per game given up, and 26th in defensive points per game, just over 26 points given up by their defense. If we look at the free signings, or the free agent signings and re-signings so far for the Cardinals this offseason, they bring in Tremaine Brock to a 1-year deal. They make a trade with the Steelers. They bring in Marcus Gilbert on the offensive line. They sign Jordan Hicks to a 4-year deal, boosting that defense. The biggest signing, I think, Brett Hundley to be that backup to Kyler Murray. But they also bring in guys like Kevin White, off injured, but sign him to a 1-year deal. And one of the biggest ones, they bring in Terrell Suggs to a 2-year deal over from the Ravens. And, of course, draft pick-wise, they make the big noise, taking Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick. They also got other guys like Andy Isabella. I really liked Hakeem Butler to boost the wide receiving core. But with this team, Cliff Kingsbury comes in. This will be his first year as head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He gets his quarterback in Kyler Murray. The biggest thing was this offensive line last year.
Yeah,
is it going to be
it was
better?
terrible.
Is it going to be better for Kyler Murray? But I want to ask you, what are your thoughts offensively? We'll start there with this offense, with Cliff Kingsbury coming in, new quarterback coming in, and not a great offense last season.
Here's the first thing I need to get to. We both agree, and I'm sorry, Cardinals fans, bear with me for a second before you X out of this video. We would both agree in this room that the Arizona Cardinals were the worst team in football last year, right?
Absolutely.
And you'd have to be a pretty shitty team to lose to the Arizona Cardinals last year, right?
Absolutely.
Just like the Green Bay Packers did when they lost Week 13, 20-17.
I thought you were going to throw the Vikings. I was like, shit, did the Vikings lose to the Cardinals?
No, but, Green Bay Packers, you guys lost to the worst team in football. I just want to put it out there. So did the San Francisco 49ers twice, but we're talking about Green Bay here. So anyway, Super Bears, Super Bowl. So with that being said, this offense worries me. And I think that Kyler Murray... I've had my opinion said on Kyler Murray quite often, so the odds are I'm going to be terribly wrong on it now, right? Because I'm very anti-Kyler Murray. And the reason why, he's someone who took a long time to actually be committed to football. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to assume that he is fully committed to football. Even though there's a little part of me that really thinks the first time things get difficult, he's going to say, so about that baseball contract. The reasons I'm really concerned for Kyler Murray is he's a small guy. And I'm not saying that he can't play quarterback. All right, he'll be fine to play quarterback. What I'm concerned about is when he faces a real defense, which, I don't know, you're the college football guy. Is there such thing as a real defense in the Big 12?
No. Big 12 don't play defense.
Exactly. So when he faces a real defense in the NFL...
that was the running joke between Brandon and I for the longest time, was that's why you get the 56-52 games in the Big 12, because all spread offense, no defense.
Well, the coaches just say, who we got? You know what? I don't care. Go out there, play whatever position you want. It's fun. It's all about the defense. I'm looking at a game like Week 2, when they play the, and we'll get into the schedule later, but when they play the Ravens, the second best defense. When he gets that
first look at a real NFL defense.
Yeah. And yes, I am throwing some shade on the Detroit Lions on this one. But that's going to hurt. And then he goes to, they're going to go play the Panthers and then the Seattle Seahawks. So he's going to play some good defenses. If this offensive line cannot protect him like they were not able to protect Josh Rosen, and I know there's some shuffling going on here, but they were not able to protect Josh Rosen last year. He was sacked way too many times, way too quickly. Kyler Murray is going to break in half. And you bring up Brett Hundley. Brett Hundley. I had to double check and make sure that was the right backup quarterback. He might actually be playing next year. He might have to. So that's a concern I have. But Kyler Murray, those are some things I'm worried about. But he can do it kind of on his own too. Yeah, he can make stuff happen.
Well, and that's why they drafted him. Where they they being the Cardinals are hoping that he could maybe be like a Russell Wilson-esque, I'm going to say. And I know people are going to say that's a big name to live up to, but they're hoping that he's going to be that Russell Wilson, that if it does break down on the offensive line, he can either run around in the backfield, still make a throw, or I go back to the West Virginia game, it broke down, he scrambled out to the left and just whoosh, right up the sideline for a 51-yard touchdown.
Exactly. So there's potential there to not, I don't want to rag on Kyler Murray because I don't want Arizona Cardinal fans to think I'm hoping he's bad. I'm not hoping he's bad. I just don't think he was worth a first-round pick, which will be my big hot take if he becomes a huge superstar, and then people can yell at me about it. Whatever. But, I look at Cliff Kingsbury. He is another big red flag. I mean, this is complete boomer bust.
Went to lunch with Sean McVay.
Yeah, he did, which is great. They text every once in a while. Kyler Murray will be a boomer bust quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury, that's a boomer bust coaching hire. Yeah. So they're going all in, which is great. Good for them. It's like if you ever played online poker, or anybody who ever played online poker on Facebook or something like that, and you go into one of these tournaments, everybody gets 1,000 chips right to begin with. There's 8 of you, and all right, you're ready to play, and 5 people at the table have all gone all in. Why? Because they can. It doesn't matter. It's not real money. They're just going for it and hoping for the best. And that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I feel like that's the thing here. It's, hey, you know what? We're pushing the chips in. We had a terrible season last year. We've had a rough time since Bruce Arians is no longer our coach. We got to go and we got to make a splash. Cliff Kingsbury is that option. They're going for it. So I want to talk about this offense because, there's a great article on ESPN where they're trying to figure out what are the few key pieces we know about this offense so far. The answer is not very much, and some of it conflicts with each other. What we supposedly know so far is that they're going to use the shotgun a lot. Whether it is the 99% of the time that some people have said, or it's just more often than not, they're going to run shotgun a lot.
Yeah.
Why is that important? Kyler Murray is going to be a lot more comfortable in that. It's not a Mitch.
That's what he ran in college.
Yeah, it's not a Mitch Trubisky, hey, spend some time learning how to take snaps under center. It's, this is what he's good at. Let's just do it.
And the thing I want to interject with about the offense really quickly is Kyler Murray, to me, when it comes to the Cliff Kingsbury system, he's the linchpin to me. If it's going to all stay together, it's because of Kyler Murray. If it's all going to fall apart, it's because of Kyler Murray. And the reason why I say that is I am on the side with Cliff Kingsbury that I do not think his tenure with the Cardinals is going to be very good. Because with him personally as a head coach, I look at it and go, let me look at your time at Texas Tech. And
It wasn't
from 2013
bad,
to 2018, here were the records. And I'll do overall because conference doesn't matter from college to NFL. 8-5, 4-8, 7-6, 5-7, 6-7, 5-7. So besides that first year, which I'll be honest, that first year, usually with a head coach, you put a line through it because it's like, these aren't your recruits. They're the recruits that we had previously. And usually it's not until like year 3, year 4, so 2015, 16 for him that you see like, hey, what's this team look like? And win-loss, the team was never good. But offensively...
That's the big key that the Arizona Cardinals are looking at.
And here's the thing. His first 2 years, they were, and this is throughout all of FBS, they were 23rd and 55 in 2013, 2014. But in 2015-16, they were the second-ranked offense and the fifth-ranked offense before falling back down to 23rd and 16th. Here's the thing that's important. Who did Cliff Kingsbury have those 2 years he was second and fifth at Texas Tech? Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He had the right quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes has proven
and that's
now
what
in
they're
the
hoping
NFL
to go
that,
for.
hey, I'm really good. That's what they're hoping for with Kyler Murray. The question is, can Kyler Murray be the same thing to Cliff's offense that Mahomes was in college?
And that's an important distinction, too, because with the with Patrick Mahomes, and you're talking about shotgun, that's 80% of the time. They're hoping for that type of success. A couple things I want to go into. So I like that part. That's something I like. Yes, play to the strengths of your young rookie. Make it easy on him. This is the part that concerns me, and it reminds me of a certain somebody, and I think that for everybody playing the game at home, you'll be able to figure it out pretty quickly who this reminds me of. This offense is going to be fast-paced.
Yeah.
It's going to be up-tempo. They're hoping to run above 80 plays a game.
Are we going to get a Chip Kelly reference?
Exactly. This is Chip Kelly all over again. Chip Kelly
is Cliff going to moderate how many hours his players are sleeping? They're going to have heart monitors on during practice.
We're going to only
this is
run
what you can
15,
eat. This is what you can't eat.
Only going to use 15 seconds of the play clock. We're going to go and go and go. And what happens? Players get too tired. They get injured. And it doesn't actually work. The goal is great, but it doesn't actually happen. And, ESPN did a good job looking at the average play time and whatever for teams. I don't care. I'm not going to get into that.
Here's a question I just want to throw out there because I don't know the actual answer to this, but maybe someone out there does or Is it that fast-paced no huddle works better in college because you're dealing with, early 20s to late teens kids?
Yeah.
Whereas in the NFL, you could be dealing with someone who's in their 30s.
Yeah, depends on dealing with a guy who's 40.
When you get 30, 40, it's like, dude, I can't fucking go the way I could when I was 21.
Your defensive players oftentimes are larger, and even offensive linemen are larger than they were in college. Look at a Big 12 defensive lineman or an offensive lineman. they're not the size of an NFL lineman. So that definitely goes into it as well. And the conditioning is just a little bit different as well. And there's a lot going on. Part of the thing, too, in a college offense, it's, all right, guys, run down the field. Patrick Mahomes, throw the ball to one of them. Awesome. And they have their gimmicky things. They have their signs. In the NFL, there's a lot. It's not that they don't analyze in college, but there's a lot more of that chess game going on between coaches a lot of times, too. You can't move that fast. You're going to make mistakes, in that case. So that's one that really concerns me is what is that balance going to be between how fast they're trying to run, how often they're going no huddle. Sometimes for a rookie quarterback, no huddle is nice because they don't get in their own head.
You don't have to think about anything.
Exactly.
It's just, hey, this is what I'm used to. I can go off of muscle memory.
Playing football in the park, But
more of the NFL is like, you look at Tom Brady and it's, what do you do? Like, in the NFL, you always hear the analysts say, it's not what you do after the ball is snapped. It's what you do before the ball is snapped.
Exactly. Look at Peyton Manning. He uses Brady. Every second of that play clock.
There was that one game, was it Manning versus Lewis or Brady versus Ray Lewis, where it was, I think it was Peyton Manning when he was on the Broncos. Like, Peyton would change something, you'd see then Ray change something. And then Omaha, you'd see Peyton change it right back. And then Ray Lewis would change. It was like a little chess match that they had, and then it was like, oh shit, we got to hike the ball now.
Exactly. So you're trying to do little things. Obviously, this is going to be kind of a spread offense. They're looking to spread. I don't know if it's a pure spread offense, but they're going to try and spread out. They're going to try and use all the field, which is great in college. The harder thing, it's not impossible to do a spread. Obviously, plenty of teams can manage it in college. In the NFL. But it's a little bit of a narrower playing field in the sense of just the hash marks. So Cliff Kingsbury has to adjust to that. We'll see how he does in that part. And then this is the interesting one. We're all expecting, and we're all guilty of this, I think, Kingsbury's offense to be all about Kyler Murray throwing the ball.
Yeah.
But he's saying that this is going to be a balanced offense. That they will be running the ball. I personally don't really buy it, but this is what they're saying is going to happen.
Well, and that's one of the questions I have about the offense, too, is you're not going to have it just be Kyler Murray. And when you have a guy like David Johnson back there, like, yes, you can use
he's actually there.
You can use David Johnson as a receiver, but David Johnson, to me, isn't that back to where it's like you're a pure receiver out of the backfield. He is one where it's like, you have David Johnson back there, you might want to use him because that's a guy that could, like, healthy, 1,000-yard rusher every single year. Like, that's the potential he has when healthy. The question
if you're
is,
using him,
will he be healthy?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Another thing that's very interesting to me is talking about how they want it to seem more complicated than it is, which is an interesting one.
They want to trick the defense, basically.
Yeah, I think that can be an interesting idea. It also can really backfire in your face. I think, to use Chicago, I think Matt Nagy has seen it backfire in his face multiple times, where he was trying to be too complicated, trying to be too tricky.
Trying to be too cute.
Yeah, don't be cute. Sometimes you just hand the ball off to your running back and you run up the middle.
It's like...
Ask, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll about that.
It's like I had a gym teacher in high school. He would say it all the time. He goes, guys, no matter what it is in life, just think of the one word, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
There you go.
And honestly, sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, it's sometimes the simplest option is going to be your best option. So this can be interesting. Like I said, I feel like this is very boom or bust. There's going to be a lot of criticism either way because the number one overall quarterback that had a lot of question marks to him. It's a coach that had a huge amount of question marks to him when they hired him. If it works out, they look like geniuses. If it doesn't, everyone's going to point and say, we told you so. Why'd you get rid of Josh Rosen? Told you. So it's going to be very interesting, but it's also the kind of thing where this is a completely different kind of team, really. New coach, new quarterback, trying to fix the offensive line, trying to keep some of those older guys and injured guys, Fitzgerald, Johnson, trying to keep them together. Some pieces of the defense that are gone now. it's a very different looking team, and it's not a team that's just going to suddenly become a Patrick Mahomes or Baker Mayfield led team and just suddenly be awesome. It's a team that's going to take a slower amount of time to be ready. So it'll be very interesting, that's for sure.
And the thing I find funny is, so Pro Football Focus ranked every roster in the NFL. Guess who's last?
The Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals. And like when you look at their roster, they split players up between 3 categories: elite, good and average, and then basically below or above average and good, and then just average players. And the only guy that they have above average, which is Patrick Peterson. Everyone else is either below average or average, like on offense. Max Williams, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk are the only ones that they have at that lowest tier, or the third tier. The lowest would be not any of them. On defense, Terrell Suggs, who they added, Rodney Gunther, Chandler Jones, Jordan Hicks, and then DJ Swearinger are the only ones besides Patrick Peterson to be on that kind of 3-level scale. And it's just, for the Cardinals, I feel like the one thing I'm seeing is a lot of people want to compare Kyler Murray to Baker Mayfield. Can he have the same impact on the Cardinals?
Not the same team. Not even close.
And I get it's not the same team, but people are saying, can he have the same impact on the Cardinals that Baker had? And it's like, what you said is true. Not the same team. That Browns team... It's not even
close to the same team.
That Browns team had drafted well before Baker to add a guy like Myles Garrett, to add a Jabril Peppers at the time, to have a guy like Jarvis Landry in that receiving core. And I know people are going to say, well, Ricky, they got Larry Fitzgerald. They drafted Christian Kirk. They've got the wide receivers there. They've got David Johnson. To me, the big thing that's going to come down to is, can this offensive line be better than 32nd in pass blocking? And number 2, moving over defensively, how big are the additions of Jordan Hicks and Terrell Suggs going to be with this defense, to where is this defense going to get some extra turnovers, get some extra stops to give Kyler Murray more chances with the ball? Because that's how the Cardinals win games, in my mind, is basically, it's like throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks. We're going to give Kyler Murray as many bullets as we can, basically as many possessions that we can, and see what he can do with them.
And that's dangerous. It's dangerous in a lot of ways. Dangerous if you can't protect the man, keep him on his feet. Dangerous because he's a rookie, and rookies typically make mistakes. Even the good ones make mistakes. So it'll be rough.
And before we get into the schedule, the one last thing I did want to say when it comes to Kyler Murray, because you had mentioned it, with the baseball football thing. So with the baseball side of things, the only thing he had to do was, he's still got a contract with the A's for this season that's going on right now, I believe. Yeah, for right now, because he was drafted last year. He forfeited his $4.45 million bonus when he decided to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
However, on the NFL side, this is a 4-year contract with a possible 5th-year option. It is fully guaranteed. However, the deal will void if he leaves for the MLB. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. That was a great thing by the Cardinals.
Definitely.
Making sure that language is in there. That, hey, after year 1, if you leave, you don't get this fully guaranteed contract anymore.
But at the same time, if things are not going well, he might not care.
Which I'm looking at it too, where it's like, hey, if I had $35 million all guaranteed, I don't care if I hate it. I'm sticking out that contract. That's $35 million fully guaranteed. Like, no questions.
These athletes are different kinds of people,
what you're getting. Let's look at the schedule, though. What do you think of Arizona? They have a later bye, the Week 12 bye. When it comes to the AFC West, they're going to obviously play their division. They are going to play the NFC South, and they are going to play I'm looking for the AFC one, I think the AFC North, and then have the 2 common opponents for them. It's Detroit, and I'm looking for that second one. I can't find it, Mark. I think not Atlanta, New York. Detroit and New York, the Giants, are the two uncommon division opponents. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the schedule?
I hate so many things about this schedule for the Arizona Cardinals.
Second toughest defense, week 2.
Yeah, but I mean, even starting off, they might be able to get that win against Detroit, but that's a big question mark.
That defense is tough.
They've got a better defense. They got Matthew Stafford out there. They've got a lot. But Arizona might be able to get that one just purely for the fact of Kyler Murray is out there for his first game. But, you're going against the Ravens then, the Panthers, the Seahawks. Those are tough defenses. I don't really know what Cincinnati's going to be like, so we'll see. But they were good for a little while last year. Atlanta will be healthy. New York, that's probably a winnable game. You'll probably be okay. In that case, you're going to New Orleans. You're playing your division, obviously. Tampa, you'll be okay against Tampa. But it is Bruce Arians, so he might be inspired when you come to his new turf.
On Dave's birthday.
Yeah, it's just, I could see the Arizona Cardinals. Please don't be too angry. I could see you guys as a 2-win team next year. And it's not necessarily a big mark on your team as much as this is just a really difficult schedule.
Yeah, and I mean, when I look at it, this is a team that right now I don't know wins and losses, but I know for sure this is a team that's going to be top 5, possibly top 3 draft pick next year. And I know it's way too early, but when we look at it, the thing I'm really liking from early mock drafts is, so right now I'm looking at Tankathon.
If you want another quarterback, you can take one.
Not that. I'm looking at Tankathon, right? They've got the Dolphins at 1, the Bengals at 2, the Cardinals at 3. Dolphins go at Tua. They have the Bengals then go at Jake Fromm, quarterback. Hey, if I'm the Cardinals, if I get 3, if I get 4, if I get 5, there's a possibility that Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver from Alabama, could be there for them. And, if I'm a Cardinal fan, that's the guy I kind of pray does well, is up there.
Yeah, we got to see the whole college season next year.
Because, I mean, that is somebody adding in with Christian Kirk. You're hoping that Andy Isabella, although he was taken later, he was a part of that Josh Rosen deal is how you got him, that he could be a nice addition to this team. You're hoping Kevin White can stay healthy, but
not gonna happen.
You're gonna need that marquee guy, and Jerry Jeudy could be that marquee guy for you when Larry Fitzgerald hangs it up I'm assuming he's gonna hang it up at the end of the season.
Who knows?
Because yes, offensive line is your weakest spot, but wide receivers, yes, NFL.com thinks that Christian Kirk is going to be a Pro Bowler this year, but really besides Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk, what are you putting your faith in Chad Williams, Andy Isabella, Kevin White, and Hakeem Butler? I'm not.
Yeah, patience is the key. It's not a 1-year turnaround.
How many years do you think they give Cliff? Because
I think they've invested quite a bit in him, so I'm going to say 3 years.
They almost did they chud their last coach, or he got 2 years? Okay, he did. That was his. I forget because I was calling him to be fired when he got hired, basically.
Yeah.
So I forget how many.
Well, it was just it's nothing against Wilkes. It's just the fact that it was an obvious kind of this is all we've got hire, and it was also an obvious they're going. Well, you knew that they were going to move on from him the first chance they got.
Which Steve Wilkes did not know. Maybe I knew this when we did the previews, but guess where he's the defensive coordinator now?
Don't know.
The Cleveland Browns.
Oh, okay.
So he's now the defensive coordinator over there. Yeah, he was only with Arizona for 1 season. But any final thoughts about the Cardinals before we move on into the 49ers?
Protect your quarterback, please.
Yeah, this is one where it's going to be interesting to see how Kyler Murray does, but I could see this team being, like Mark said, at best a 5-win team. But that's really shooting for the moon.
Yeah, it's a lot better than I said.
I see this team as a top 3, top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Maybe 2, 3 wins. 5 wins is your ceiling, and you're ecstatic that you got 5 wins because you're holy shit, we actually did something. But let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.